News Nation headquarters. This is News Nation Prime.
We do want to bring in our panel on this. News Nation political contributor Kurt Bardella and Republican strategist Matt Klink. Gentlemen, welcome both. Kurt, why don't we start with you? We were hearing from Libby Dean. Senate Minority Leader Schumer is moving to have this 940-page big, beautiful bill read in full after this procedural vote. What can Democrats gain or lose from that move?
I don't really think it does anything but punish the clerk of the Senate, frankly, when you do these things, because that's the person who actually has to bear the brunt of the labor of reading the bill. It's not like Republican senators have to read the bill. That would actually be kind of more interesting, frankly. It's a clerk that no one's ever heard of, that no one's going to remember, the day after this vote ends. So I always think those type of procedural gambits, well, yeah, it extends the news cycle. It gives people an opportunity to go on TV and make their case. But does it change minds? Does it change votes? I don't think it really does at the end of the day. It just looks like a procedural gambit that most American people will just tune out.
And Matt, regardless of the reading, there are still some key Republican no votes that stand in the way. Will the GOP have the cohesion it needs to get this done?
Well, Natasha, if they don't, it's a major blow for Donald Trump's economic program. And I think that the Republicans, I'm sure one of the arguments that is being made is that they're going to suffer for this, good, bad, or otherwise, in the 2026 elections. So they might as well vote for it. But the reality is there are policy concerns and there are political concerns. And I think that the senators who are on the ballot in 26 are weighing both of those. And if you're not on the ballot in 26, you're going to vote for it because you're a Republican. And that's what Donald Trump wants.
Kurt, what's your response here? And also, there are key provisions in the bill that are up for debate among the majority of Republicans. What changes do you think are likely?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what the final holdouts of this bill, of this vote, what they really want. You don't hold up something like this unless you have a shopping list. That's always been my experience. I used to work for Senator Olympia Snowe from the great state of Maine, who was always a swing vote, who was always being courted by the White House, by then the Bush administration, as well as her colleagues in the Senate. And, there was always down to what can I get from my state, my constituency, to smooth this over, so that if I get attacked for this bill, I can say, but hey, I delivered X amount of dollars for healthcare, for infrastructure, for national security, public safety, education. Those are usually the things senators are looking for to get their vote from no to yes. This will be a real test, though, of, I think, Vice President J.D. Vance. So he is potentially the tiebreaker vote. He is there right now in the Capitol working in the Senate, and we'll see what the limit or extent of his sphere of influence really is.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Matt, Elon Musk, again, voicing his displeasure with the mega bill. He's writing on X. The latest version of the bill would destroy millions of American jobs and cause immense strategic harm to the country. What's in the bill that has Musk so against it?
Well, you know what? I mean, look, allegedly, that's the reason why Elon decided he was kind of done with Doge. I think that he certainly doesn't like some of the deficit spending that's in the bill. I think he would prefer, but it's just not a reality in Washington, D.C. He would prefer that we slash the deficits even more. But, in Washington, D.C., every program has a constituency. And I think he was still tweaked at some of the electric vehicle handouts that are going to be curtailed in this bill. But hopefully Donald Trump can keep his fingers off the keyboard and not say anything on Truth Social, because ultimately Elon doesn't have a vote. And, I think that Kurt called it. J.D. Vance can come in as the president of the Senate and cast the tie-breaking vote on a 51-50 measure, but that still necessitates that they have the 50 votes to move this process forward. Again, it would be a huge loss for Donald Trump if this thing doesn't clear the Senate, because then, by the way, we have to vote again after the conference committee between the House and the Senate meet.
Yeah, Kurt, very quickly, in about 20 seconds, I want to turn to the SCOTUS decision. Is this a major win for President Trump, and what is the concern among Democrats about this?
Well, I mean, it's a win, but like in all things, it could be short-lived, because at some point the pendulum always swings to the other side, and then the other side gets to do the precedent that is being set. And so while Republicans might be cheering right now, I guarantee you when the Democrat is president doing the same thing, Republicans will be crying bloody murder. That's just how it works. I think that's really one of the big concerns is right now we seem to be legislating through the bench, and we should be legislating through legislators, That's what the legislative branch exists to do. And I think this is a bad trend across the board that everything and everyone is going to the Supreme Court to legislate.
Matt, we're almost out of time, but what's your take here? I saw you nodding.
Absolutely. Kurt nailed it. I think he's spot on here. This is more of a win for the executive branch, irrespective of the person who holds the office. And it was a power that the federal judges never had. They just did it in the 20th century and nobody challenged them on it. And finally, Trump did. So Democrats will benefit the next time they hold the White House.
Matt Klink, Kurt Bardella, appreciate you both. Thank you.